Remember words by reading essays. An overseas student's journey of adaptation.
Today, we're going to study an article titled An Overseas Student's Journey of Adaptation. Before we look at any details, I'd like you to relax and listen to the passage once from beginning to end. At this stage, please focus on the general idea and overall feeling of the story, rather than individual words or sentences.
When Emma first arrived abroad, she hoped to make unfeigned connections with classmates rather than superficial friendships. Yet, she soon realized that cultural differences often target newcomers, leaving them feeling isolated. One professor gave her an uplifting speech, reminding her that clashing with challenges didn't mean she had to constantly butt heads with others. Instead, she should learn how to pep up her confidence and try new approaches. At the beginning, she often had to wrangle with complex visa documents, and sometimes even spar with her roommates over house rules. If she gave up, she might end up withdrawing from others. Determined to overcome the obstacles, she tried to subdue her stress by keeping a journal, and she also began to neaten her living space. She saw some students squabbling over group projects, but she chose to work hard to vindicate her ability through results, not noise. She reminded herself that the overriding purpose of studying abroad was not grades alone, but growth. She had to face squarely the reality that no one would adapt on her behalf. Living abroad felt like a government trying to levy tax on your patience costly, but the reward was maturity. Sometimes locals would tell a lie with their eyes wide open, stereotyping her culture. She didn't take it personally. Instead, her confidence began to vault as she joined clubs and made new friends. There were moments of altercation with landlords and the hardest-born nights of homesickness, but she chose to espouse optimism. Even when she was fidgeting in class because she couldn't follow the lecture, she reminded herself that her mentors would always root for her progress. Finally, she and her peers conjured up a plan to create a cultural exchange event. Unlike scams some students fall for or bad habits they may perpetrate out of frustration, this event built bridges of trust. Slowly, Emma learned that adaptation was not about erasing her identity, but expanding it with resilience and openness.
Now, let's listen to the passage a second time. This time, as you listen, I will pause occasionally to explain some key vocabulary and important phrases that are essential to understanding the text. Please pay attention to how these expressions are used in context, and feel free to take notes if something stands out to you.
When Emma first arrived abroad, she hoped to make unfeigned connections with classmates rather than superficial friendships.
Today, let's look at the word unfeigned. In the text, unfeigned connections means feelings or relationships that are genuine, sincere, and not pretended. When something is unfeigned, it comes from the heart, not from politeness or social pressure.
So, does unfeigned mean the same as honest?
Very close. Honest is common, but unfeigned is more formal and emphasizes that nothing is fake or hidden.
Can we use it to describe emotions?
Absolutely. You can say unfeigned happiness or unfeigned gratitude to show the feeling is truly sincere.
Yet, she soon realized that cultural differences often target newcomers, leaving them feeling isolated.
Now, let's look at the word target. In the sentence, cultural differences often target newcomers. The word means to be directed at or to single someone out. It suggests that newcomers are more likely to be affected or influenced by these differences, sometimes in an unfair or uncomfortable way.
Does target always have a negative meaning?
Not always. It can be neutral, like target a goal. But when used with people, it often suggests pressure or unfair attention.
Can we replace it with affect here?
Affect works. But target is stronger because it shows the newcomers are specifically singled out, not just generally affected.
One professor gave her an uplifting speech.
Let's focus on the word uplifting. In the text, an uplifting speech is one that raises someone's spirits and gives them hope or confidence. It helps people feel encouraged, especially when they are facing difficulties or self-doubt. Just like Emma at that moment.
Is uplifting only used for speeches?
No. Not at all. You can describe music, stories, news, or experiences as uplifting if they make people feel more positive.
Is it similar to inspiring?
Yes, they're similar. But uplifting focuses more on emotional encouragement, while inspiring often pushes people to take action.
Reminding her that clashing with challenges didn't mean she had to constantly butt heads with others.
Now, let's look at the phrase "butt heads." In the text, it means to argue or clash with someone because you strongly disagree, often again and again. The image comes from animals hitting heads, so it suggests conflict rather than calm discussion.
Is butt heads formal English?
No. It's informal and conversational, so it's best used in speaking or casual writing, not in very formal essays.
Can it describe a small disagreement?
Usually it refers to ongoing or strong disagreement, not just a minor difference of opinion.
Instead, she should learn how to pep up her confidence and try new approaches.
Let's look at the phrase "pep up." In the text, to pep up her confidence means to make her feel more energetic, positive, or confident. It suggests giving someone a boost in mood or motivation, especially when they are feeling tired or discouraged.
Is pep up used only for people?
Mostly, yes. But you can also say things like pep up a speech or pep up the room to mean making something more lively.
Is it formal English?
No. It's informal, so it's common in everyday conversation rather than academic writing.
At the beginning, she often had a wrangle with complex visa documents.
Now, let's look at the phrase wrangle with. In the text, it means to struggle with or deal with something difficult and complicated, often over a period of time. Emma had to wrangle with complex visa documents, which shows the process was stressful and required effort and patience.
Does wrangle with always mean arguing?
Not always. It can mean arguing with people, but it's also commonly used for handling difficult tasks or problems.
Can we replace it with deal with?
Yes. But wrangle with is stronger and emphasizes the difficulty and frustration involved.
And sometimes even spar with her roommates over house rules.
Let's focus on the phrase spar with. In the text, it means to have a short or minor argument, often back and forth, rather than a serious fight. Emma sometimes sparred with her roommates over house rules, suggesting small conflicts that happen in everyday life.
Is spar with related to boxing?
Yes. It comes from boxing practice, where fighters spar without full force, which is why the arguments are usually not very serious.
Is it formal or informal?
It's fairly informal and commonly used in spoken English and narrative writing.
If she gave up, she might end up withdrawing from others.
Now, let's look at the phrasal verb end up. In the text, if she gave up, she might end up withdrawing from others. It means to eventually reach a situation or result, often unintentionally or unexpectedly. It shows a consequence that happens if certain actions are taken or not taken.
Can end up be used in a positive situation too.
Yes, definitely. For example, I ended up making great friends shows a positive outcome. It just emphasizes the final result.
Is end up formal English?
No. It's informal and very common in spoken and written English. So it's fine for essays but best in a conversational tone.
Determined to overcome the obstacles, she tried to subdue her stress by keeping a journal.
Let's look at the word subdue. In the text, Emma tried to subdue her stress, which means to calm, control, or reduce something strong, like emotions or feelings. It doesn't mean to completely get rid of it, but to manage it so it doesn't overwhelm her.
Can subdue be used for things other than feelings?
Yes, it can. For example, you can subdue a fire or subdue an enemy, meaning to bring it under control.
Is subdue formal or informal?
It's slightly formal, more common in writing or serious speech than casual conversation.
And she also began to neaten her living space.
Now, let's look at the word neaten. In the text, Emma began to neaten her living space, which means to make a room, desk, or area tidy and orderly. It focuses on arranging things neatly so the environment feels more organized and comfortable.
Is neaten the same as clean?
Not exactly. Clean usually means removing dirt, while neaten is more about arranging and tidying things, like putting books on a shelf or folding clothes.
Is it formal English?
It's informal to neutral. You can use it in everyday speech or in writing to describe tidying up.
She saw some students squabbling over group projects.
Let's focus on the phrase squabbling over. In the text, some students were squabbling over group projects, which means arguing or fighting about something in a petty or trivial way. It suggests minor disagreements rather than serious conflicts.
Is squabbling the same as arguing?
Yes, but it usually refers to small or silly arguments, often over things that aren't very important.
Can it be used for adults too?
Absolutely. Adults can squabble too, but it often sounds a bit playful or informal, not very formal.
But she chose to work hard to vindicate her ability through results, not noise.
Now, let's look at the word vindicate. In the text, Emma worked hard to vindicate her ability through results, which means to show that you are right, capable, or justified, especially after doubt or criticism. It's about proving yourself in a way that earns respect.
So, is it the same as prove?
Yes, very close. But vindicate often implies overcoming doubt or criticism, not just showing a fact.
Can it be used in personal situations? Or only formal ones?
You can use it in both, but it's slightly formal, often seen in writing, news, or professional contexts.
She reminded herself that the overriding purpose of studying abroad was not grades alone, but growth.
Let's focus on the word overriding. In the text, Emma reminded herself that the overriding purpose of studying abroad was growth, not just grades. Here, overriding means more important than anything else. the main priority.
Can overriding be used for rules or laws too?
Yes. You can talk about an overriding rule or principle, meaning it takes precedence over others.
Is it formal English?
Yes. It's slightly formal and is common in writing, speeches, or academic contexts rather than casual conversation.
She had to face squarely the reality that no one would adapt on her behalf.
Let's look at the phrase face squarely. In the text, Emma had to face squarely the reality that no one would adapt on her behalf. It means to confront a situation directly, honestly, and without avoiding it.
Is it the same as deal with something?
Similar. But face squarely emphasizes courage and honesty in confronting the problem, not just handling it.
Can it be used for people too?
Yes. You can face someone squarely in a conversation, meaning look them directly and deal with the issue honestly.
Living abroad felt like a government trying to levy tax on your patience costly, but the reward was maturity.
Now, let's look at the phrase levy tax on. In the text, living abroad felt like a government trying to levy tax on your patience, which is a metaphor. Literally, levy tax on means to officially charge a tax. But here it suggests that challenges were taking a lot of Emma's patience.
Can levy be used for things other than taxes?
Yes. In formal English, you can levy a fine or levy a fee. It always means to impose something officially.
Is it formal or informal?
It's formal, mainly used in writing, news, or legal contexts, not casual conversation.
Sometimes locals would tell a lie with their eyes wide open, stereotyping her culture.
Let's look at the phrase tell a lie with their eyes wide open. In the text, it describes locals stereotyping Emma's culture. It means to lie knowingly and deliberately, without shame or hesitation. The phrase emphasizes the person is fully aware they are not telling the truth.
Is it the same as just lying?
It's stronger than just lying. It suggests deliberate, bold, and shameless deception, not a small or accidental lie.
Can it be used in formal writing?
It's more informal and descriptive, often used in stories or essays to make the action vivid.
She didn't take it personally. Instead, her confidence began to vault as she joined clubs and made new friends.
Now, let's look at the word vault in the text, where Emma's confidence began to vault as she joined clubs. Here, it means to rise or increase suddenly and noticeably. It shows a rapid boost in her confidence and self-assurance.
Is Volf always about physical movement?
Not always. While it can describe jumping over something physically, it's often used metaphorically to describe a quick increase, like confidence, profits, or scores.
Is it formal or informal?
It's neutral, suitable for both writing and speaking, but more common in descriptive or narrative contexts.
There were moments of altercation with landlords.
Let's look at the word altercation. In the text, Emma had moments of altercation with landlords. It means a noisy or heated argument or disagreement, usually verbal, rather than physical.
Is altercation stronger than argument?
Yes. It usually implies more intensity or public display. So it's stronger than a calm disagreement.
Can it be used in casual conversation?
It's slightly formal, More common in writing or reporting events than in everyday speech.
And the hardest born nights of homesickness, but she chose to espouse optimism.
Let's look at the phrase hardest born. In the text, it describes Emma's hardest born nights of homesickness. It means the most difficult or painful to endure, emphasizing the emotional weight or struggle she experienced.
Is hardest born commonly used in English?
It's not very common. It's more literary or formal. Writers use it to highlight something deeply challenging or heavy.
Can it be used for things other than feelings?
Yes. You could say hardest born responsibilities or hardest born losses, meaning anything difficult to carry or endure.
Even when she was fidgeting in class because she couldn't follow the lecture.
Let's look at the word fidgeting. In the text, Emma was fidgeting in class because she couldn't follow the lecture. It means making small, restless movements, often from nervousness, impatience, or anxiety.
Is fidgeting always about hands?
Not necessarily. You can fidget with hands, feet, or even objects, like tapping a pencil or bouncing a leg.
Is it formal or informal?
It's informal to neutral, commonly used in everyday English, writing, and storytelling.
She reminded herself that her mentors would always root for her progress.
Let's look at the phrase root for. In the text, Emma reminded herself that her mentors would always root for her progress. It means to support, encourage, or cheer someone on, especially in achieving a goal.
Is it only used in sports?
No. It's common in sports, but also in everyday situations, like cheering for a friend's success or encouraging someone at work.
Is it formal English?
It's informal and friendly, mostly used in spoken English or casual writing, not in formal academic texts.
Finally, she and her peers conjured up a plan to create a cultural exchange event.
Let's focus on the phrase conjured up. In the text, Emma and her peers conjured up a plan to create a cultural exchange event. Here, it means to think of, create, or bring an idea into being, often in a clever or imaginative way.
Can conjured up be used for things that aren't real?
Yes. Sometimes it can mean bringing something imaginary or magical to mind, like a story or vision. But it's also used for practical ideas.
Is it formal or informal?
It's informal to neutral, suitable for storytelling or conversational writing.
Unlike scams some students fall for or bad habits they may perpetrate out of frustration, this event built bridges of trust.
Let's look at the word perpetrate. In the text, it says some students may perpetrate bad habits out of frustration. Perpetrate means to commit or carry out an action, usually something wrong or harmful.
Can it be used for positive actions?
Not usually. Perpetrate is mostly used for negative or criminal actions, like crimes, lies, or harmful behavior.
Is it formal or informal?
It's formal and serious, often seen in writing, news reports, or legal contexts.
Slowly, Emma learned that adaptation was not about erasing her identity, but expanding it with resilience and openness.
Next, we will listen to the article one more time without interruption. After learning the key words and phrases, Try to notice how everything fits together more clearly. I hope this final listening will help you better appreciate the message and deeper meaning of the article.
When Emma first arrived abroad, she hoped to make unfeigned connections with classmates rather than superficial friendships. Yet, she soon realized that cultural differences often target newcomers, leaving them feeling isolated. One professor gave her an uplifting speech, reminding her that clashing with challenges didn't mean she had to constantly butt heads with others. Instead, she should learn how to pep up her confidence and try new approaches. At the beginning, she often had to wrangle with complex visa documents, and sometimes even spar with her roommates over house rules. If she gave up, she might end up withdrawing from others. Determined to overcome the obstacles, she tried to subdue her stress by keeping a journal, and she also began to neaten her living space. She saw some students squabbling over group projects, but she chose to work hard to vindicate her ability through results, not noise. She reminded herself that the overriding purpose of studying abroad was not grades alone, but growth. She had to face squarely the reality that no one would adapt on her behalf. Living abroad felt like a government trying to levy tax on your patience costly, but the reward was maturity. Sometimes locals would tell a lie with their eyes wide open, stereotyping her culture. She didn't take it personally. Instead, her confidence began to vault as she joined clubs and made new friends. There were moments of altercation with landlords and the hardest-born nights of homesickness, but she chose to espouse optimism. Even when she was fidgeting in class because she couldn't follow the lecture, she reminded herself that her mentors would always root for her progress. Finally, she and her peers conjured up a plan to create a cultural exchange event. Unlike scams some students fall for or bad habits they may perpetrate out of frustration, this event built bridges of trust. Slowly, Emma learned that adaptation was not about erasing her identity, but expanding it with resilience and openness.
That brings us to the end of today's lesson. Thank you for your careful listening and participation. I hope this article has given you both useful language input and some insight into the experience of studying abroad.
See you next time.
And have a great day.